Today I'm going to be going through how I change a tyre, or rather how I've been taught over the years how to change a tyre by people who are much more knowledgeable than I am. So it was a sale, a mate of mine bought new tyres and he needs me to fit them because he's brand new to mountain biking like many of you guys might be. So I'm going to go through how to change a tyre, things to watch out for, a couple of things just to make it a little bit easier. Great. Now things you'll need are, let's have a look. Now things I use are tyre levers. I have here a syringe. I use a milk kit system, but you know you can use any syringe really with a bit of a hose. You can get them from either from your old bleed kits, or I'm pretty sure you can get similar things just from a pharmacy or somewhere, or your hardware store. But I use a milk kit system. It's a fully integrated system with their own valve as well, which is really handy. Use that. Tyre levers. You will need, actually what's this one? There's sealant in this one. So this is a tubeless setup. So you might need a compressor, but I'm just going to try to use a track pump. This is my old Joe Blow Sport, which I've had for about 20 years now. Still going, I think. Gauge might not be accurate, but yeah, it's close enough. Need one of them. And that's about it, really, to get you started. First thing you'll need to do is remove your wheel, give it a quick clean. The reason you give it a clean is it's always good to just inspect your wheel for damage, anything you need to be aware of, because, you know, safety's first. So I usually give it a quick wipe down, just a rag, it can be dry. If you've got gloves, you can wear gloves. For this, I'm not going to wear gloves. I usually wear gloves, but for changing tyres, I don't wear gloves because I sort of need that extra grip with my thumbs. So no gloves for me, but you can wear gloves if you want. Wipe down. All right, I start at the valve, the valve, and I sort of walk around just to make sure there's no dents. First thing I always check is just along the edge, or where the bead is, just along the rim to see if there's any flat spots, because if there's any flat spots, especially for your tubeless tyres, it can cause problems. So you just have to be sort of aware of that as well. It's probably a little bit more advanced, but if you just want to change your tyres, have a quick look, make sure there's no serious damage. This looks pretty good. No flat spots, they just feel along. It's a bit dirty. We'll clean that up in the process as well. All right, so we're ready to go. Actually, you'll also need a valve core remover. Looks like something like, what's a typical one? Let's see if I've got a typical one, something like this. So something like that. Something like that. I also have one in my milk kit, which looks like that. All right. So first thing I do, take off your valve cap. You can hear it coming out there, spitting a little bit. I set the wheel up with a valve at the top, so I don't get, minimises the amount of sealant that's going to come out. A little rag. Just try to get as much out as I can. Not spitting anymore. No more sealant coming out. I get the valve core removal tool, put it on there, and we just wind it out. I'm gonna wind it out for you. Just thread it in. There we go. And off it comes. Great. Go. Usually have a table next to me to put all my stuff. All right, that's your valve core. This is what we call valve core here. So we can get a zoom. So all that does, this one's a bit mangled. got a spare one, I'll replace it. You can buy these individually, really. So if you do damage that stem, that stalk there, you can replace it. That's all it is. Nice and simple. There's a few different types. This is a Presta valve, which is pretty much all what most mountain bikes will come with. Pretty much all tubeless systems will come with a Presta style valve core. Now I'm going to prep. Nearly forgot. What I normally do is I actually prep the tyre that's going to go on, especially when it's a new one. So what you need is scissors or something. I've just got some cutters here. Go, throw it in the bin. Cut that across. Try to put my tools back where they came from so I can find them again. All right, prepping a tyre, take it all out, pop it out so it looks like a tyre. You'll see all these little kinks here. What we want to try is we're just trying to even them out. I give them a bit of a wrestle just to make sure it's a free. Don't have to do this, but I find it makes things just a little bit easier in the long term. To be able to take your tyres on or off, I'm just going to go through anatomy of a tyre real quick. So we have a tread up here, which provides a grip. Then we have a sidewall. This is your sidewall here, along there. There's different types of sidewalls. There's some types of grips, tread, sorry. And then we have what we call the bead, which is this bit just along right on the edge that sort of protrudes out. There's a couple different types of beads you'll hear about. Most common are your wire bead, which is a steel bead and they're nice and stiff. And then you have a Kevlar bead, which is what we also know as a folding bead, because well, you can fold these a lot easier. It's a little bit lighter, but not as strong, I guess. I just let them hang somewhere. Let gravity do its job. Right, so what I do, reason I use milk is because I can actually get the sealant in and out without breaking the bead or taking the tyre off. So how this system works is if I can get it undone. It's just a syringe. If you got a syringe with like a pipe, like a nice thin pipe, should work. All right, open that up. What you do is, so milk up valves, actually I've got one in here, look like this. There's a pretty old gunky one, but what it has is on the other side, that splits open. So when there's pressure inside the tyre, that actually seals itself, but when you stick, actually I can show you. Let's take the valve out. So, not sponsored. So when I put it in, you can see as it comes through, it pushes out the other end. Simple as that. With a valve at the bottom, I'm going to turn it around so the rotor's away from me. I usually put this on the ground, so I'll put it on the ground. I'm going to push my syringe in. Actually, that goes all the way through. I'm going to push it all the way in so it's pushing in. My feet there, all around it, just to support it. I'm going to pull in, see if there's any. It's pretty gross. And that sealant's pretty gross. But hey, it's better in the syringe than all over my my face. We're just going to lock it out. Have my Adventure Time cup. Good thing is you can also always check your sealant, as well as top it up without taking the tyre off. So I've got the sealant out with a syringe. If for whatever reason maybe you have a cush core valve or something, well, actually I think a cush core valve actually works because it holds the base as well, straight through as well as the side. But some valve cores, they don't go straight. Valves don't go straight through. There might be something in there that stops you from using a syringe. What you have to do is you have to remove part of a tyre and suck it out. I'm going to show you how to do that as if this was like one of those. So what we do is I will break the seal. So we'll just pop the seal. I just do one side, so what we'll do is I'm just going to go around and pop it out all around. So just pop that out. One side. Okay, I'm going to see if we can take it out with my hand. If I can't, it'll be I'll use a tire lever. All you got to do by holding it, what you like, I don't know how to describe this, but you can peel it up and then get it over your rim. Like, the less tools you use, the better. Never ever use any metallic tools like screwdrivers or even old school metal tire levers. Avoid them. They will damage your rim and your tire. Sure, that's over. Like, you can use tools if you want, and then just get your hand around there. There we go. I've sucked out most of that. As you can see, there's not much seal in there. It's done a pretty good job sucking it all out. So you don't have to take a whole tire off. Just take off one side. If you take off both sides, then it gets really rickety, and it'll rock around a lot. It'll be a little bit harder to manage. Just do that. Then get whatever you need to suck it up again. So if there was some in here again, we put it in, and look, there's a tiny little bit. We just suck it up. But there's not, so don't worry. Okay, next thing you do is grab a rag of some type. Here you go, here's a t-shirt. Waste to use a whole t-shirt, so let me grab some scissors. It's my favourite scissors, these Fiskars. These are awesome. I don't know, I got these from Bunnings. They have like a little ceramic sharpener, so I can actually, sharpen my scissors if I so wished. And they also come apart and become a bit of a knife. I don't know why I need it, but it's been handy. Alright, just cut up. I actually have a little part for where all my rags go in there. Place for everything. Give this a quick wipe down. Just a quick one so we don't get sealant going everywhere. There we go. Great, we'll need that soon as well. Okay, now to take the rest of it off, and what I do is just grab it and just push in, just to break that seal of a bead lock. Right, probably a good time to talk about how these tubeless wheels work. A non-tubeless tire will actually work, but you'll just probably find like sealant leaking out sidewall. And also the bead may not be as good as holding on. Now a tubeless rim there's two well, I don't know if it's two main types, but like the side wall inside your rim. I'm going to take this tire off. So to take it off, I just lift it up with I get my thumb underneath, and I sort of lift it up over the top, and off it comes. Right. Again, if you need to use a tire lever, I guess you can use a tire lever if you want, but if you can use your hands, it's much better for it. Like this one came off pretty easily. Some of them a bit a little bit tighter. Now to use a tire lever correctly, I guess, I don't know. Do I need to show you that? Probably, let's do it. All right, so. All right, just gonna clean my hands a little bit. All right, say that's back on. All right, to get the first one off, what I do is I sort of push all the tire sort of into the middle, because what you'll notice in the middle of your rim, I'm going to clean this up a little bit so you can see better. There's sort of a you can see there's I guess a crevice, right? This is for the tire to drop into, all right? And on the side you'll see it comes up higher, and then you have the edge of a rim which sort of holds on to your tire as it comes out and expands. So there's ones which are hook and hookless. This one has a hook, which means on the side, as a wall comes up, it has sort of a little hook. And then you have ones which are hookless, which is just pretty much straight. There's different profiles for that. Don't have to worry too much about that, but just so you know, if you read about it, that's what it means. So to get these off with tire levers, what I do is I push all the tire all into the middle, and then theoretically you'll have more slack to be able to pull this up. Get your tire lever in. Using a plastic tire lever, I've got this style, and this style as well. What you want to make sure is, so I've got two little hooks. So I've got one on the inside and then a hook that actually grabs onto your bead. So the first hook actually sits on your rim, and then the second hook grabs your bead. So likewise here on this green one I have, this is my favorite one, the orange one. Had this for like almost 20 years. This one's a recent one. Actually, with tie levers, you want something that's pretty stiff. You don't want one that's so super flexy. Right? This one's a little bit flexy over the has become flexy over the years, but you want something pretty stiff. All right, so I'm just used to using this one. I sort of like the hook side of it. What you want to do is engage the inside of a tie lever on your rim eventually, and the outside, the edge of your tie lever, you want that to engage on the, grab this tie. You want that to engage sort of on the bead. So you can see there, just on the bead. I'm going to do it on the bead there. Okay. All right, so what we do is we get it in. So sometimes we're a bit tight, you just get it in there, and you can see, you can try, you want to get it all the way over so the inside one engages. We're just going to pull up. All right, and once you pull up, sometimes, you know, it'll pop up enough you can get hand in it. If you don't, you'll need a second tie lever. I'll just pop this on so it makes it, so you can actually see me doing it properly. I'll put it on by hand. We used to have races in the workshop, missed those times. There we go. So you put the tie back on. All right, let's take it off. Helps having two. Like if you're new to it, maybe have two. Get one in. What you want to do is hook it on. So if it's out here, you can see you've got leverage, but it's not going to grab on. So what you want to do is you want to get it right onto the edge, pull out. I just hold it. Some of these have hooks. Actually, I'll use a hook one, show you how it works. So I find, I line it up along a spoke. Then, wrong way. Hook it on. All right, so as you can see, it's leveraging on the inside of a lever. What you want to do is you want to try to get it so it comes to the outside. Once it's on the outside, hook it on, it'll hold on there for you so you don't free up your hands. Grab the next one, try to get it so we've got some leverage underneath. You can go, don't go too close, but where I go is where it starts to come off next. Where you can see it starting to come off, just so you can slide that tie lever in and off you go. So once that's in, with a plastic one, you don't, if you line up the inside sort of, I guess, groove, you can literally just pull it up. Now, you only want to pull it up so much that you can get your enough so you get your hands underneath and just pull it off. Doesn't matter if it falls away, don't lose it. All right, pull it off. Now, if you can't get the second side off, and I recommend taking it off the same side as the first one, not the other side, yeah? What you can do is you can get a tie lever in again. I peel it up, and what I'm doing on the other side, I don't know if you can tell, is I've got my hand on the rim. And all I'm trying to do is get this tie lever again to engage it inside, and then I'm just pushing. Can you see my thumb pushing out to this side, so to the edge that I want to take a tie off. Engage that groove on the rim, and I just pull. And then once that comes off, I'll be able to see it on the other side. And once I can see on the side, I can literally, you should be able to push it off. Like if you're a little bit more coordinated than me and less clumsy, you're able to hold onto your tie lever as well. Grab a cloth, give it a quick wipe down. All right. Now the bit that you want to make sure it's clean is, well, you can keep it pretty dirty. I get rid of all the gunk. So what I use is methylated spirits, because it's nice and cheap. It's a lot cheaper than isopropyl alcohol, but if you got isopropyl alcohol, you can use that as well. Grab a rag. I don't have my spray bottle here of metho, so I'm just going to put it straight on. And what we're aiming for, that edge in there, so we want to make sure that edge in there is nice and clean, because that's where the bead of your tyre is going to engage on. So it'll still work if it's a bit gunky, but it'll make your life a lot easier, because you can imagine if you've got crud in there, it's going to cause leaks and whatnot. So I just got to clean that up. I use Metho. You don't have to use Metho, but I find Metho cleans it up as well as I do this, and it dries so I can work in a waterless environment. Here we go. Do you have to head off soon, Joe? Yes.
No.
You sure? All right, cool.
Yeah. I told her that they're going to be here until you leave.
Who?
Tanya.
Who's going to be here? You are?
You.
I'm going to be here until I leave.
No, I'll be here
Okay.
until you leave.
Oh, okay, sorry. It's like good old days back in the office,
Yeah.
where we used to stay in until like 11, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, doing stuff.
This is just going to be beautiful.
That's all right. No, I'll put it in, man. So what I'm doing is I've got my nails in there. You can see the grooves in there. I'm just trying to clean as much of that as I can out. Use my hands. You can use a tie lever if you prefer, so you can. If you've got soft hands, you can get your tie lever and give it a. And what I'm doing, not pushing against the rim tape, sealing rim tape. I'm just pushing against the rim. All right, hopefully it'll seal, huh? Be funny if it doesn't seal. Won't be the first one. So through this process, there's one thing that you got to be aware. I guess some of you guys might not have disc brakes, but most of you will have disc brakes. Don't touch the disc brakes. Keep them as clean as you can. You don't want to get anything on there, especially your, anything oily, fingerprints. Might have, it'll stuff at your brakes. I'm a bit overzealous with the cleaning, but it's good to check out there's any damage. Again, sounding a bit. Might need a hub service. Okay. Leave that for another day. All right, so now it's pretty clean. What we can do is put your tyre on, I think. Right, so really important to know which way is forwards, which way is back. Your disc brakes are always on your non-drive side. So if I'm riding my bike, looking forwards, best way to do it so you don't get it wrong is hold the wheel in front of you. Make sure your disc is on your non-drive side. Then your tread pattern should be going at the top forwards. Another thing at this point is if you're doing both your wheels, make sure you don't put your rear tire on your front on rear. It's really important. So we all make that mistake. Oh, if you get a bit confused on which way the rotation is, what you'll find is on these tires, you'll notice on most of them, especially Maxxis and most of the big brands, you'll notice on your drive side you have the actual model and all the details on your tire, but on your non-drive side there's nothing, just a logo maybe, So that's your drive side. That side is not your disc side. It's kind of confusing. You just got to remember which way is forwards, right? Just double check. Hold it so it's in front of you. And you're good to go. Then what I do is I make sure this is partly for, a professional finish, but also it means when you're out on the trail, it's really easy to find your valve core. If you find your logo, have it so it's up, so hold it up, and find your valve, which is here. Have it all up as well. You want to put a valve right in the middle of your logo. This way, when you're on the trail and you need to find it really quickly, say you get a puncture, and you got to get like air into your tires real quick. This is it. So I line it up. Again, remember how I told you about that groove down the middle, that channel down the middle. Okay, want to try to pop it on there. All right. I just engage that part. Then,
Before you do, can you put a lid on the Metho?
Sure, you're a bit nervous. You think I'm going to knock it over? Yeah, I might. Okay, cool. So Once that's on, we only need one side on. You don't get the other one on yet. Get too tight. So holding this tight so it doesn't pop out. I put my hand on the inside, and then all I'm doing is just using my thumb to push this on. It'll get to a point where it's going to be really, really hard, and at that point, it's not just going to pop. There's so much on that it's not going to pop off. So again, holding it tight so it doesn't come off. Put your hand inside. I roll it across, and as I go across, just with my thumb, just pushing that over a rim wall, like that. Once we get to this stage, it's not going to fall off. But I just hold the tire, put it in front of you, and what we're going to do is we're going to wrench it back with your hand like this. So I grab it, I can be pretty rough with it, and just need a bit of a wrench, like that. Wrench, is that the right way? Word? Just pull it on, that's it. Drop it into the middle channel, because what we want to do is we're going to give them as slack as we can so we can get the other side on. That middle, make sure it's all in the middle channel. Okay, pop all that out. Pop all that out. What I'm going to do, I start on the I guess the opposite side of my valve, because then I've got as much slack as I can get with a tire. Because if you can imagine, there's a valve in here at the moment that's going to push the bead out more. So we want as much slack as we can for really tight tires. I mean, the DHF isn't a super tight tire, so you can do it, doesn't really matter. But you know, if you're doing a lot of tires, or just to be safe, makes it easy. You don't have to redo work. Start on the other side. What I do is for this one, because one side's already on, I can put my thumb. I put my thumb on the rim, and then I grab using my fingers. I'm just pulling it in. Flip it over, and then use my thumbs to just wrench it up again. There we go. Okay, now when you get to the last bit, just going to make sure we can get as much on as we can. Make sure, grab these and give it a pinch to make sure this is all in the middle. All right, just make sure I'm just pinching it into the middle. Okay, just on the other side. You don't have to do it all around. Grab this, and what we're going to do is put it on my feet again so it doesn't roll away. You can, I mean, some people push it against something, and you can do it like this as well. You know, if you got. But I do everything sitting down on these cool little swivel chairs. Put it on there, and all I'm doing is I use anywhere. Probably if your tips of your fingers are a bit, you know, and you're a bit soft, and you don't want to snap some nails, got long nails or something, you can use it in your what's that first knuckle? I don't know, in there. Get it and just wrench it on. If you can't wrench it on, you got tire levers, which I'll show you how to use. Yeah. So the first side you shouldn't need tire levers on. If it's really tight, I mean, you can use tire levers, but you know, you shouldn't need it. Let's get these off. I'll get these off first. Let's see if I can do it. Wrestle it on as much as you can. Say if that's all you can do. Get your tire lever. So we reverse it. Before we're taking it off, we did it this way. We're going to reverse it, and this time, the far side of your tire lever, right? The edge hook, that's going to grab onto your rim, and then we're going to pull it. I guess I don't know, shimmy, push, whatever. Get your tire on, right? So we're going to get it in. Don't go right in the middle, because what happens if you go right in the middle, you'll be like, oh, it's going to be pushing it. You want the bead to sit sort of close, fairly close to the second groove. Doesn't have to be right on it, but fairly close to it. So I'm going to come in a little bit. What I do is I engage it, and I can just slide it along the rim. In it goes. Right, in, and by using that, it will give you a hand in getting this on. All right. And then we're just going to, but it's you know, just be really careful. Really careful when you use a tire lever. When you're putting it in, your hook isn't grabbing onto the rim tape, because it will damage rim tape. So you just want it so it's just on your rim, and then with tire beads on there, it pushes on, and you can use your hand to help it along. So what I'm doing is putting it in, grabbing the edge of the rim, which is kind of hard to do, but just to get it on. Yeah, and then as that's on, we're using to leverage, and we're just going to use my hands to push it on, right? And then you go along. You get my idea. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my hands. It's just much quicker and easier, generally. Again, making sure these are all in the middle, back in that channel. That way, I've got more slack until I get these on. That should just come on. There you go. Feel it come over. Great. Now, haven't put the valve core back in, leave it out. What I do is, these are now sort of sitting some into the channel, some on the edge. You'll see here on the, actually I'll get something to point it out. So, on the rim, you'll see we've got, well, let's find somewhere else on that rim. So you'll see on the rim, we've got your wall of the rim, you've got that channel in the middle, and then we have this edge here. So I don't know what this edge is called. What is it? Like, I go. Let's call it the, I don't know, seating channel. We'll call it a seating channel, right? Because what we're going to do is try to get the bead just onto the seating channel, not into the middle channel. Okay. So to do that, what I do is I grab, just one side of a tire and I pull it out. I sort of pull it out. Grab this and I'm pulling it out. Yeah? And on my other side as well, I grab it and I'm pulling it out. So you just want to get it on there. And you see how just from here, you see how it just, I don't know if you can see it, I'm just pulling it onto it so it sits on there. I'm going to try to do it as much as I can all around. You'll feel it sort of coming up and then you'll feel resistance and it's going to get tighter. It's going to do that all around real quickly. Doesn't have to be perfect, but majority of it on. That's going to give me a decent seat. So what I'm doing is don't grab the other side because you just push it straight out. Grab the top of it, push it down, grab the material, just give it a pull out. I don't know. I'm just going to be using all B-roll and stuff because I can't see it. So I'm going to pull it all out. Just real quick. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Make sure the tire's sort of roundish. And then you got a compressor. This is where you really want a compressor. If you don't, I'm just going to sweat a lot. Now, this is the only bit where I might not be able to sit down on, but I'm going to see if I can change a tire without standing up. Have I stood up yet? I don't know if I've stood up yet. I might call this video how to change a tire sitting down. Oh, this is a little bit harder than actually sitting down. Alright, maybe not. Make sure it's all round. A little bit here, which I've just got to pull out. A bit dirty, this one. Alright, looks like I got to... Can I do it sitting down? I'm going to try. Just because. Oh, I don't think I can do it without standing up. Okay, so you're going to pump quick. There we go. Alright, look, it's holding air. So what's happened is, that's sort of pushed out enough, and it's seated. All that prep work, you can still see, I don't know if you can still see a bit of blue through there. What it means, it's holding air because we put it in that seating channel, means that there's a good seal through it. Although it's not a perfect seal, it's a good seal. And as it expands, hook onto here, as that expands, it's going to sit onto the walls of a rim. And it's going to create a really good seal through, just pressure, good pressure as well as good seal. So now it's already there. Next thing we need to do, something I forgot to show you. Actually look down here. I'm going to lift it up. See here, you can see this line, this edge.
Oh, the pump is
in the way. Yeah. Here we go, and just turn around. Thanks, Joe. All right, let me put it over here. Is that better? Mm-hmm. All right, you can see this edge. See that mold line? Okay, see how as it comes over to here, it ducks inside. There's a mold line. So when it's seated properly, it should look like this all the way around. Up here, you can see how it's ducked inside. So what we need to do is at the end, we're going to come back to just check it. All right. Now, so we're going to keep pumping up, and I reckon pump up to about 30 or so PSI for mountain bike tyres. And I'm just going to go. So far, so good. Haven't had to stand up. There we go. Did you hear that pop? Often there'll be a big loud pop as that, so you see over here on this side, when that pops up out of that groove, it's going to pop out and smash into the sidewall, and that's going to create a really good seal, but it's also going to make a big bang. So there you go. Just keep going. Good idea to have a quick look around to make sure, you know, it hasn't popped out off anywhere. Shouldn't have, because we've done a pretty good job in seating. I guess just getting that bead to sit in the right spot on the rim in preparation. So maybe we can just upload this video without cutting. Who's going to watch a 60-minute video? I don't know, how long is it so far? 50 minutes, that's pretty good. Sorry, Joe. Oh, hasn't seated yet. You can see over here, it still hasn't come up. Just, there we go. Oh, there we go. There we go. I sort of gave it a bit of a push. And so that's seated. So what we do now, I don't have a valve coil on there, so I'm not going to pull that off yet. I'm just going to grab it. Just having a look around. You can see how that mold line is sitting. The distance all around is the same on that side. Look on the other side. Let's have a look. You can feel it. Looks perfect all around. So that's seated. That's done. Congratulations. I've just put a tire on. Now we just got to check. Valve, is that in the middle? I mean, it's pretty close. Close enough. And it'll be off on both sides. One side will be perfect. Side you have to choose. I mean, probably a drive side, but doesn't matter. All right. So now get it up to about, well, I'm up 25, 30 PSI. That's enough, right? Because we're gonna take this off now. That's seated, so it's gonna hold air. Just undo this. I'm just gonna, usually I grab a rag or something, but there won't be anything coming out. Oh, I nearly forgot. Because we knew that this valve cord can take the tube, we haven't put any sealant in. The other way is before you put the other the wall on, you put the sealant in, but it's just a messy way to do it. This is the way I recommend you do it, because if this didn't work properly, you'll have sealant spraying out everywhere, or if a tire comes off, you have sealant pouring out everywhere. All right, so I'm just going to remove this. Okay, that'll do. There we go. I usually put my hand there just so I don't get anything spraying onto the disc rotor, just on the top here. Okay. Great. Pop this over. Oh, don't go anywhere. Right. Take care of him. All right. Okay. So now, if you push on there, I mean, can you see that's pretty tight now. We're going to put a seal in this. How much sealant do we put in? I'm just going to grab. I put 90 mil for something like, oh, what's this, a 2.6 actually? Probably, 120 mil then of sealant. Where's my sealant? Oh, here. Where I put it. So I put all most of my liquids and stuff in there. Give it a good shake. Doesn't matter which brand of sealant you use. I mean, I use Stan's because it's easy to get. There are other ones like Orange and things, if you prefer them. Smells a little nicer. This smells pretty bad. But it works really well. And I've never had any issues with it. Give it a good shake up. Just going to clean my... Normally I have a little table here. Let's clean up my things. Let's just clean up my workstation. There we go. Oh, this is a new one. Hey, it's a newie. What's my old one? Oh, maybe I used it up. Okay. Oh no, it's not a newie. I just left the seal on, so it'll seal better. Try to be lazy. All right, pop it in. We're going to do, how much are we doing? So this syringe takes 60. Wipe. I recommend just wipe down the tube because we want to try to minimize the amount of sealant that gets into valve itself. So what I do is I grab this valve core. Huh?
You don't.
Oh man, no, it'll be okay. Don't stress. Just be really aware. Okay, put your lid on. All right. Yeah, all right, Joe. I'm a bit clumsy, so I guess probably a good call. Get the valve. I put it to the side. Instead of down the bottom, I put it to the side. So this way, when I put it in, the sealant just falls down. Then I can just smash it in. There we go. To start with, we'll put it down later. You can have it down a little bit more if you want, doesn't matter. Okay, I put it between my feet so it doesn't roll away. Grab this. There we go, pull this out. There we go. Let's get some more sealant. Yeah. Remember to give your sealant a good shake before using it always. This feels more dangerous with the lid on. Right, so we're going to put 120 in there. You know what? Actually, don't trust me. What does the bottle say? Probably there's instructions on there. Give it a shake. Let's have a look. 2.5 to 4 inch, 90 to 120 mil. So I normally put 90 mil in my tyres, right? Because I want to save some light. 30 grams helps. There you go, pop it in. Blast it in, make sure it's all the way in. Okay. There we go, make sure it's in. There we go. Make sure it all goes in. Grab my rag. Give it a clean. Great, now, before we go playing around with it, get your valve core. Get your valve core again. Valve core removal tool. This is threaded. Pop it in there. Here we go. Pop it in. Make sure it's threaded on. Now with really fine threads, you don't need to do this. Just a tip. If you don't know whether it's engaged properly, if you go in like the opposite way of a thread, so this is a normal thread, a dextral thread. If you go anti-clockwise, which is taking it out, you go slowly, you'll feel it drop into its first thread. And go click, there we go. Bit of a click. And you can wind up by hand most of the way. You don't need to do these super tight. Get your valve core installer removal tool. Give it a, just nip it up till it doesn't move, pretty much. By hand, with 2 fingers. It's a small tool, which means small amount of force is required. Is all you need. Great, make sure that is. Now pump up your tyre. Now this stage is really important. I mean, you can go ride straight away, but what I normally do is, if I had more time, if this is my own wheel, I usually don't put any sealant in straight away. I mean, you can, but I usually don't. I put it in and leave it in like for a few hours and then put sealant in. Put that on. Tie it to the side. Cap is closed, don't worry. I'm going to go up to about, what are we going up? Just up to 25, 30 psi. You don't need to do too much. Actually, you know what? For purpose of YouTube, go to 30 psi. This isn't a recommended way to use a pump, but I'm trying to do it sitting down. And we're just going to get to, it's taking forever. That valve core's probably really dirty. All right, 30 psi. Oh. Oh. On here. That's a valve core, is it? Give me a sec. Let's grab my valve core tool. There it is. So, yeah, it's coming from a valve core. So it probably needs a new valve core. Alright, new valve core for this guy. Alright, so that valve core wasn't very good. I had a feeling it wasn't. So let's find a new valve core for this guy. Man, I might have to stand up. No, I won't. because I'm organized with my bits boxes and everything is within reach. Okay, here we go. It's always good to have little bits boxes. Extra spare parts. I've got some valve cores here, fresh ones. Oh, look at them. Nice and pretty. There we go. There's a restock on them, got one left. Alright. And just knowing where all your bits are makes things a little bit easier. So it's just got a brand new valve core now. Like I said before at the start of all this, I reckon that valve core probably needed replacing. So if it's, you know what, actually, I might be able to, if you're at home, for those of you playing at home, and you don't have a little bits box of valve cores and things like that, because who'd buy them just in case, right? I mean, I do, but who else does? So let's just remove this valve core. Okay. Okay. Is that what? I don't gunk. All right, let's have a look at this valve core. So I can see where the problem is. See this part here, where the that little plastic grommet is. Notice that was a bit crushed and damaged. So that's probably the culprit there. So as it pulls in, it's not providing a good seal. Plus there's a big gunk of sealant. You can see all the sealant on here. So look, theoretically, if you're playing from at home and you don't have a spare valve core, this is what I'd do. Get something sharp. There we go. I'm just going to grab all these picks. Let's clean it up and see if that'll do the trick. But ultimately, I'm going to replace that valve core for my mate Nick. So we're just going to clean it up, preferably not onto the ground like me. We're just going to clean it up. I'm going to unwind it all the way so I can stick it so it'll actually open up. Just going to have a look in there. There's a bit of gunk in there. So what happens when there's gunk in there? Obviously it'll prevent that from sealing. So we can get it out. Can't get it. Well, if you've got enough patience, you can. Let's have a look. Let's have a look if it works. I mean, it's not perfect, but you know, in case this is all you got at home. No, it doesn't feel quite right, but just from feeling it, there's a hard stop. Usually it's sort of a bit of a soft stop, but again, it's probably because that little rubber, well, plastic seal is all mangled. Wait, make sure that's unwound. Push it all the way in. Gauged. Oh man, got to get a compressor. Nick, buy me a compressor, please. There we go. There. Good, so that solved it, but he's going to get a new valve core. So if you're at home, make sure it's clean. But I'm just going to get a new one for him. So once you've done all this, I recommend the best way to get the sealant moved around. I mean, I'll show you the thing that we do in the workshop, because often we'll give bikes back to customers and they're not going to go for a ride straight away. Best thing's to actually go for a bit of a ride. But if you don't, I'll show you what to do. Put some air in there, up to 30 psi, or 230 psi. You got carbon rims, 28. Oh, it's so much easier. Yeah, there we go. It's feeling better. So having that feel, once you do it enough, you have a feel. If everything goes right, you know there's no problems. If something's not going right, it's probably something wrong. So there we go, it's much easier. Oh, I'm almost falling into it. I might just pump up tyres sitting down from now on. Or get a compressor. Oh, it's 32. 30-ish. It's not that accurate. There we go. Bit of a hiss to say thanks. Right. Next step. Valve cap on. Keeps it nice and clean looking, as well as keeping the valve, protecting the valve from damage. Right, this is next bit. What I do is we give it a shake. Like some people spin the wheel, you can, but it's better just to agitate it. Best if you go for a ride. But again, at the workshop, sometimes we hand these, sometimes we finish with the bikes, we hang it up, and people don't come for like 2 or 3 weeks to pick up their bike. So give it a good shake around, go for a ride. And that's how you change your tyre. If I missed anything, any other tips? Oh, totally forgot. Once the tyre's off, it's probably good idea to actually, trim the wheel, make sure it's round. But I was too focused on getting the tyre on, getting this video finished. So, that's how you do it. Any questions? Any comments? If I forgot something, if I've done something wrong, let me know. Love to know. Until next time, happy wrenching.